Now, young man, what do you want to do with your life?
Actually, Matt, I kind of want to be a writer.
Well, Lottie frickin' da! We got ourselves a writer here. Hey, Dad, I can't see real good. Is that Bill Shakespeare over there?
Give me the meat and give it to me raw.
I am not gay. I have relationships with women. Sex with men.
And I got news for you. That means you gay.
Hi there. How you sleeping? Good? Gentlemen, listen up, y'all. Here's the new plan. You're gonna start a riot, and we're gonna walk out the front door.
Hey, man. I know guys on crack that makes more sense than you.
Really? Then let me put it to you this way, cuz. Yeah. I don't know how to be. No crib on MTV. God only knows. Got my mini-me in the GP. See how it goes. Evil's all that I see. You ask me my name? D to the Rizzo, E to the Bizzo, I to the Lizzo. I'm a crazy... You all knew that. Austin caught me in the first act. It's all backwards. What's with that? So I'll make a prophecy from the dogs to the mini-me. Give me an Escalade or two-way bling-bling on eBay. Domino. Yeah. Stick that in your pipe and smoke it. Uh-huh. It's for all my homies in Bruges. Cristal, my moto, a couple of bee hutches. Why not? I got a buster move, dropping buster groove, feeling fine. Got an evil crew, gold member crew, lick my 9. Till then, I'll on my butt, brains out, put on call and splooge in your app. That's all. For shizzle my nizzle, y'all.
The sound of the cannon.
Attention! On the count of 3. 1.
So it begins.
Such a crick in the neck!
Beetlejuice. Beetlejuice. Beetlejuice.
It's showtime.
Everybody comfortable?
Yeah.
Get your motherfucking ass up when I'm talking.
And here we go.
Good day. Once again, we have news. Crazy news. Jonathan Majors has gotten more accusations lobbied against him. Like, they're just coming out the woodwork now. And Mandalorian has got the fan base pretty much split. Well, what's left of it anyway. And then Cleopatra. And, I was always I was on the fence about like what her origins were. Like, But apparently, like 99.9% of academia believes that she is Macedonian, of Macedonian descent, Greek. So she wouldn't be black, obviously. Uh, so, but I remember watching Xena and seeing uh a black actress play Cleopatra. It was the girl from Firefly, Gina Torres, I think is her name. She played her in that, which I believe she's black. But yeah, nobody cared then. But then that was a fictionalized version of her. This is supposed to be like a documentary, I think. Either way, yeah. People were not happy about that, especially people in Egypt. They're pretty pissed. Actually suing Netflix over this, which this is Jada Pinkett Smith's baby. I didn't know that. I didn't know that until I saw somebody else covering it. Uh, I guess we'll get into that first. I didn't. Yeah, I didn't know which topic I'd cover first. Actually, I want this. This is some juicy stuff. Hey, and thanks for the thoughts and prayers for my mom. She's going back to Tulane. They're transferring her back because she caught an infection, and her doctor, I guess, went on vacation, so they didn't have everybody equipped to handle that at Memorial. So hoping everything goes well. They get it out, and she gets back to undergoing therapy. I'm just trying to stay positive. Uh, it's my dad that I'm really worried about because he's not taking it great. But uh, the only thing I've learned in these situations is you gotta stay positive and don't panic every time something happens. And in that spirit, I'm just trying to find something fun to do while I'm trying not to think about what's going on, and like just pass the time before I go back to work. I'm going to work tomorrow, and yeah, that's why I'm doing this. This is part of my cope. Oh, there's oh yeah, there's an article I'm gonna get into that is coping hard of about Mandalorian season 3. But this Cleopatra stuff, let's get into that. Cleopatra's African heritage in Netflix docudrama sparks uproar in Egypt. Okay, so it's a docudrama, not a documentary necessarily. I guess it's um a fictional series. I don't know. Netflix's upcoming docudrama Queen Cleopatra, in which Britain's Adele James, who is of mixed heritage, plays the first century Egyptian ruler as a queen with African roots, is sparking an uproar in Egypt. Egyptian academics are claiming that, well, isn't Egypt in Africa? But whatever. Egyptian academics are claiming that Cleopatra, who was born in the Egyptian city of Alexandria in 69 BC, yeah, that's right. There are a lot of white people in Africa, by the way. Like Elon Musk is from Africa. She was born in the Egyptian city of Alexandria in 69 BC. So this is stuff they know for sure, right? And belonged to a Greek-speaking dynasty. Yeah, I don't know much about Cleopatra other than she was in love with Antony, and there's a whole Shakespearean play about that. And I know about her death, the viper that kills her when she's in the bath or something. Like they even like covered that in Xena. So belonged to a Greek-speaking dynasty, was of European descent and not black. An Egyptian lawyer has reportedly filed a complaint demanding that legal measures are taken to block Netflix outright in Egypt to prevent the show from airing. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if this is going to stop anything. Netflix is pretty adamant about keeping their shit on on the platform. Like there was backlash to Dave Chappelle's special, The Closer. There was backlash to Cuties. Remember that? That's still on there. And yeah, Netflix just does not seem to give a shit. The complaint claims the docudrama, which drops May 10th, violates the country's media laws. Well, okay, so they'll block Netflix in Egypt. But yeah, Netflix is just gonna keep doing their thing, I'm sure. Netflix did not immediately comment regarding the choice of casting Adele James as Cleopatra. Netflix's promotional website, Tudum, in February quoted Jada Pinkett Smith, who is the show's executive producer, as saying that since the Queen's heritage has been debated, it was, quote, a nod to the centuries long conversation about the ruler's race, unquote. Um, yeah, I don't know how much debate there is about her heritage because among scholars, apparently, she was Macedonian/Greek on her father Ptolemy the 12th side. But since the ethnic origin of her mother is not known, some historians say it's possible that the Egyptian ruler's mother was African and therefore that she could have been of mixed heritage. But like I said, there were still some white people in Africa. I mean, I don't know how prevalent. I don't know how many white people were in Africa then. I'm just speculating. But yeah, yeah. Since they don't know the origin of her mother, that's why there's a question about her actual like appearance, her heritage. I kind of think it's a nothing burger. Like they're gonna do things. They're gonna do things the way they want to, regardless of what people say. Like they had I don't know if it was a show or a documentary about Anne Boleyn, and they used a black actress. that that got even more backlash because that was just plain pandering, like stupid. Because Anne Boleyn, uh, for sure was white. Like they have pictures of her, and you know she was one of Henry VIII's wives. I believe she met a tragic end. But yeah, there's documented evidence that she wasn't black, and they decided to just swap her. Historical figure. That's what people are getting getting tired of the pandering, the virtue signaling by Hollywood, and they're calling it out now. Last week's trailer drop for Queen Cleopatra has caused a stir in Egypt, where Zahi Hawass, a prominent Egyptologist, was quoted by the Al Masri Al Yom newspaper as strongly disputing the possibility that Cleopatra was of mixed race. This is completely fake. Cleopatra was Greek, meaning that she was light skinned, not black, he said. Meanwhile, actor Adele James has taken to Twitter to tell critics, if you don't like the casting, don't watch the show. And that's the that's the that's the talking point of a lot of the Hollywood types when people complain about their show, like just don't watch it. And then they complain when people don't watch it. It's got to be one or the other. You actually, if you want people to watch a show, then make it good and like try to be accurate, I guess. Debates over how Cleopatra is represented on screen aren't new. Plans for a movie that was set to be initially directed by Patty Jenkins and starring Israeli actor Gal Gadot as the iconic Egyptian queen prompted debate, with the critics saying the time had come for the role to go to an Arab or African actor. The movie has not been made. Yeah, I don't know if that movie is going to get made. Patty Jenkins, I know, is out, but from what I've heard, Gal Gadot is still set to play Cleopatra in that movie. We shall see. Enough of that. It's just funny every time stuff like this happens. All right. Jonathan Majors is in it again, man. He's getting more flack. Things are not looking good for his case because there was that screenshot of the texts from the woman that accused him, and now more people are coming out and accusing him. Like, uh, this is how this case is different from the Johnny Depp thing because when he was accused, there were people coming out of the woodwork in support of him. You know, like Winona Ryder was saying, like he never laid a hand on me. You know, like everybody was saying that, but for Jonathan Majors, it's the opposite. I don't I don't know if this lends credence to the accusations, but it's not looking good. Like jury will see this and think, okay, there's got to be something to this. If like nobody is coming out in support of this guy except for his lawyer, who gets paid to do that. Jonathan Majors' issues worsen as more alleged abuse victims cooperate with DA's office. As Jonathan Majors prepares for a May 8th court appearance on domestic violence charges, his PR problems are about to get bigger. Sources familiar with the matter tell Variety that multiple alleged abuse victims of Majors have come forward following his March arrest and are cooperating with the Manhattan District Attorney's Office. The prospect of more women waiting in the wings would mark a dramatic turn in the case and comes on the heels of Majors' publicists and management firm cutting ties with the embattled actor earlier this week. The DA declined comment. Other news, water, wet. But yeah, I'm not. I just don't know, man. We'll have to wait and see. Like I've been saying, like we'll have to wait and see what evidence they have. I saw on another stream somebody showed like pictures that the attorney presented. No video though. Like he had said there was a video that exonerated Jonathan Majors, and we haven't seen that yet. This is not looking good. Disney Marvel is probably going to drop him if history is any indication. They were quick to drop Johnny Depp, but look how that turned out. So maybe they learned their lesson because they're kind of waiting right now. It seems there's been no word on where they stand on this guy because obviously he's a big he's someone they've placed so many hopes on. Like this is the guy, the main villain in their phase 4 and phase 5 and 6. But you saw Ant-Man 3 didn't do great. But Loki 2 is coming out. The second season of Loki is supposed to come out soon, like this summer, I believe. And he's still in it. Like he filmed all his scenes in it. So I'm sure they're shitting themselves right now at Disney. It's pretty funny when you think about it. Couldn't happen to a better company, I'm telling you. So, this is his lawyer, I think, saying this. Yeah. Jonathan Majors is innocent, has not abused anyone. We have provided irrefutable evidence to the district attorney that the charges are false. We are confident that he will be fully exonerated. Well, yeah, he's going to trial then May 8th, it said. So we'll see. We'll see. Just giving a rundown of the goings on. The Creed 3 star was arrested on March 25th in the Chelsea neighborhood of Manhattan on charges of strangulation, assault, and harassment. At the time, an NYPD spokesperson said in a statement that a 30-year-old woman told police she had been assaulted by Majors, 33, and that she sustained minor injuries to her head and neck was removed to an area hospital in stable condition. But Chaudhry mounted an immediate and aggressive response, insisting that the actor is provably the victim of an altercation with a woman he knows, and suggested the woman was having an emotional crisis. A source familiar with the chronology of events says the attorney released a statement while he was still behind bars. Chaudhry's husband, Andrew Bork, is serving. Oh, okay, that's the lawyer's husband. Is serving as Major's crisis publicist and doubled down on the narrative that Majors was the victim when he released a series of text messages on March 30th that were intended to be exonerating. In the text exchange, which has not been independently verified, the woman wrote to Majors, "I told him it was my fault for trying to grab your phone," and stressed that she told police this was not an attack. The woman allegedly wrote, "Please let me know you're okay when you get this. They assured me that you won't be charged. They said they had to arrest you as protocol when they saw the injuries on me and they knew we had a fight. I'm so angry that they did. And I'm sorry you're in this position. We'll make sure nothing happens about this. I love you." Yeah, I remember reading that and thinking, this seems like something that somebody wrote, like a script, you know? Like, oh, okay, this will make it sound like it was all her fault, and she's like trying to get you out of this. I don't know though. I mean, maybe she said this. Maybe this is true. Maybe this is real. We'll see. The truth will out. A few hours later, the woman allegedly wrote, "I know you have the best team and there's nothing to worry about. I just want you to know that I'm doing all I can my end. I also said to tell the judge to know that the origin of the 911 call was to do with me collapsing and passing out in your worry as my partner due to our communication prior." Yeah, that just seems like something a lawyer would write. I don't know. But for many who were in business with Majors, the text messages had the opposite effect and raised more questions than they answered, namely why the woman had lost consciousness. It read like a bad Lifetime movie. They basically look like the text messages of a textbook abused woman, says one person who is working with Majors on an upcoming project. And that doesn't sound good at all. In recent months, Majors has become one of Hollywood's most promising stars, with a series of high-profile and lucrative roles on the horizon. Now, all eyes are on his future with the Marvel Cinematic Universe, where he is poised to play the titular Kang in Avengers: The Kang Dynasty. Majors is still attached to star in that film, which is slated to be released on May 2nd, 2025, and he is poised for a $20 million payday, including back-end compensation. He also was signed to star in Avengers: Secret Wars, which is slated to debut in 2026. Disney is monitoring the fast-moving situation and has time to move deliberately. Yeah, I'm wondering if we'll get an announcement soon. Like, okay, this guy, this new guy is playing Kang. The mega budget tentpole Avengers: The Kang Dynasty is scheduled to begin production in the spring of next year. Disney is already deep in business with Majors, given that its specialty label Searchlight acquired the actor's critically lauded drama magazine Dreams, in which he plays a troubled bodybuilder at the Sundance Film Festival and was... Oh, me and my mom met a really nice bodybuilder at the Dallas Fan Expo. I think he took too many steroids, but the guy was nice. It was prepared to mount a robust Best Actor Awards campaign later this year when it releases the film on December 8th. Majors already shot the second season of the Disney Plus series Loki, which is expected to launch on the streaming platform in mid. Disney has the added wrinkle in time, in that the alleged victim in the Manhattan incident also worked on this year's Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, a film in which Majors were third billed as Kang the Conqueror. A Disney spokesperson declined comment. I'm sure they were like, "You better keep your fucking trap shut." Separately, Majors is stepping down from the board of the Gotham Film and Media Institute and has worked with the Sidney Poitier Initiative, which was created to support emerging filmmakers. On Wednesday afternoon, Executive Director Jeffrey Sharp sent a note to the Gotham board alerting them of the move. The industry was jolted by news that Majors' publicists, the lead company in Management 360, had dropped their star client well before his first court appearance next month. As of now, WME is still representing Majors. In 2018, the agency created a so-called Client Advisory Committee, which makes a recommendation on whether or not to drop a client accused of impropriety. I'm sure they get that a lot. The committee of some 20 staffers, split evenly along gender lines and from a cross-section of divisions, evaluates a client's viability amid accusations and considers such factors as if the client has been charged criminally or is facing a civil lawsuit. WME has previously dropped such clients as Brett Ratner. You may remember him. Two directors, actually, from X-Men movies. Brett Ratner did X-Men 3, The Last Stand. Bryan Singer did the first X-Men and X-Men 2 and X-Men Days of Future Past. And Armie Hammer. You remember him? He's the cannibal from the Lone Ranger live action remake movie with Johnny Depp. The committee has not met yet regarding majors based on the limited information that is available. Still, in the wake of the actor's March 26th arraignment on a complaint involving misdemeanor charges for assault and aggravated harassment, additional red flags began to emerge. Broadway actor Tim Nicolai, who appeared opposite Rachel Weisz in the public theater production of Plenty, tweeted that day, "I'm already seeing a bunch of, why didn't you do anything? Folks, people have tried. Ultimately needed a victim to come forward. It's both simultaneously awful to know he is still doing this and also a relief that he may never get to again. A bunch of us are close with people, and sometimes multiple people, he is directly harmed. I don't know if they will speak on it. It is completely their decision." When Variety reached out to Nikolai, he responded, "I stand by what I wrote, and I support his victims I know of in however they choose to move forward." Nikolai says no one from Major's camp reached out to him in the aftermath of his tweets. Could that be because they know? I don't know. We're just speculating. It's fine. A judge ordered Major's release on his own recognizance on March 25th with a limited order of protection. Over the ensuing weeks, the actor, a Yale School of Drama alum whose recent credits include Devotion, Defy Bloods, and an Emmy-nominated role in HBO's Lovecraft Country, has been dropped from a number of jobs including Protagonist Pictures, The Man in My Basement. MLB's Texas Rangers have cut Majors from their 2023 season ad campaign that was scheduled to launch on Friday. And fashion house Valentino and Majors have also mutually agreed that the actor will no longer attend this year's Met Gala. I'm sure that's going to be a banger. In addition to his role in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, the actor also is poised to play NBA bad boy Dennis Rodman in the Lionsgate film 48 Hours in Vegas. With that project, the studio is watching developments closely before making a decision about whether or not to proceed with Majors. Other projects that hang in the balance include Spike Lee's The Understudy for Amazon. I wonder if that's a continuation of Defy Bloods. I don't know. I didn't see Defy Bloods, so I don't know what it's about. But moving on. A source at the studio says Majors is still attached to star and produce alongside Will Smith, but the project hasn't moved forward since it was announced in early March. Damn, Will Smith too. I mean, it's this movie sounds like a Dune project from the start, doesn't it? I think the truth is everyone is waiting to see what Marvel would do. This is an industry insider for me with the situation. It doesn't mean everyone will do the same thing, but that's what people are looking to. Yeah. Maybe he did, maybe he didn't. We'll see. I can't comment or speculate on it, really. Because we don't have any evidence. Not really. We have uncorroborated statements, text messages, and hearsay. That's all we have. But moving on. Oh, they Cobra Bubbles was not replaced, by the way, in the live action Lilo and Stitch. Is this guy from the Law and Order? Which Law and Order was it? I can't remember. Is he in the main one? Criminal Intent. Yeah, that's the one with Vincent D'Onofrio. Courtney B. Vance boards Disney's live action Lilo and Stitch in the role of Cobra Bubbles. Wait, who's Zach Galifianakis playing in this? Huh? I didn't know that. Oh, wait. I think he's playing the alien with the one eye. I can't remember his name. He kind of sounds like him already. It's still unclear how the sequel's plot will compare to the original 2002. Damn, that's how long it's been. Animated film. It's older than Finding Nemo. That Hawaiian set story charted the friendship between a lonely girl named Lilo, who may be autistic, and the alien Stitch, engineered to be a force of destruction. Bubbles is a former CIA agent turned social worker, though in an undercover way, as he's still working for the government. The role was voiced originally by Ving Rhames, who I think could have been a great live-action version of this, but oh well. This guy's a good actor, so this could be good. The Dean Fleischer Camp directed live-action film for Disney Plus was. Oh, okay, so this is supposed to be a Disney Plus release. Apparently, I didn't know that. They're not releasing a whole lot of them in the theaters. It looks like Little Mermaid for sure is theater, so we saw that. What else? I don't know if Bambi's gonna be theaters or not. They're gonna release it on Disney Plus. What else were they doing? They just dropped Pinocchio on Disney Plus, and I heard it was terrible. Lady and the Tramp, I've seen that. That was pretty bad. I'm one of the few people that actually liked the Dumbo live action. They took the story that was already there and just expanded upon it. I thought it was pretty cool. Like that he ended up back in Africa at the end. I think it was Africa or India, wherever they got the elephant. But he ended up back with his family. I like that. And it was cool to see Danny DeVito and freaking Michael Keane back together again for the first time since Batman Returns. That was awesome. And I just liked the characters in that. What can I say? It's like the little homage to the mouse. They had him in the whole costume and everything, but like the animals didn't talk in the movie though. But yeah, I did not hate that. I actually kind of liked that live action Dumbo. The live action Alice in Wonderlands, I thought I would like more. I mean, I still kind of like them, but just because it's Alice in Wonderland. But I didn't get the whole like let's make a whole freaking lore like with this. It's not meant to be that. Like it's not meant to be this epic fantasy adventure thing. It's just a nonsense series of events. Like, but whatever. I love me some Alice in Wonderland. I even kind of enjoyed the second one, Through the Looking Glass. Mandalorian. Oh god. Has anyone seen the finale of Mandalorian? I didn't because I'm not watching anymore. But I heard that that it was like lackluster. It didn't really go anywhere. Like they destroyed the dark saber, which is like why you like you made this big deal out of it the last couple of seasons, and then you just destroy it at the end. What was the point? What was the point of all this? That's the question on a lot of people's mind. Like, why did we watch all this? Now, this writer here is coping super hard. I wish the damn ads would stop making this jump. Mandalorian lost its way in season 3, but season 4 could hold a new hope for Din and Grogu. Spoiler alert! This story discusses major plot points in the season 3 finale of The Mandalorian, currently streaming on Disney Plus. No shit. It took all 8 episodes of season 3 for The Mandalorian to find its way back to itself, which is to say, back to Din Djarin. What you trying to say? Like he's not the main character anymore? By the way, they have producers on the show who have said that, like, he's not the main character anymore. Bo-Katan is. And is now officially adopted child Grogu. So apparently they ride off in the sunset at the end and they go off to live together. That's what I hear. Like, okay. What was the point of everything? For most of season 3, the core relationship of the series, the reason why The Mandalorian became an instant global phenomenon, was shunted aside in favor of tracking how Katie Sackhoff's Bo-Katan Kryze rallied the estranged factions of Mandalorians to take back their devastated homeworld. Audiences have not responded kindly. Legions of reviews, tweets, and YouTube videos vivisected this season of Mandalorian for being detached, unsatisfying, sloppy, and the worst. Well, I have heard the term detached, and I have heard sloppy used in videos, and they're not wrong. Like you might get a good 2 or 3 episodes out of the season, but the other ones I've heard are really bad. Like I did watch one of them, the one with Lizzo and Jack Black, because I was curious as to how they utilized them, and it was pretty bad. Man, that whole episode was pretty bad. So that's why the series at this point feels disjointed, detached, sloppy, because it's all over the place. Like you got some good writing, mainly with like the side stories, not even the main story. Like with the Pershing, Dr. Pershing, there's a whole. I watched EFAP's coverage of that, and those guys are really good at dissecting content. My favorite video of theirs though is their takedown of the movie Karen. The shit is hilarious. If you haven't heard of Karen, it's about it's about a white woman who's like really racist. Has a black family move in next to her. It's a pretty crazy movie. If you haven't watched EFAP's coverage of that, I highly suggest it if you want a good laugh. And a few "what the fuck was that" moments. So man. What had been a loose and uncomplicated story of Din and Grogu's ongoing adventures had become instead a sprawling narrative steeped in Mandalorian lore that was brand new, and even worse, uninteresting to most people watching. Yeah, that's what I've heard. There's a lot of it's boring, and then, like I said, it's like, what's the point of all this if you're not even gonna like focus on it? Like they throw lore at you, and then like they don't commit to it. An ironic strength of the show, audiences projecting themselves into Din's helmet in the absence of Pascal's deeply expressive face, became a major liability. With episodes in which dozens of helmeted Mandalorians talk to each other in dry, monosyllabic monotones. Yeah, especially the armor. Like, that was one of the main complaints I heard, was that the armor just needs to freaking inflect more. She just sounds like she's bored all the time. With nary a human face to be seen. Yeah, that's another problem. You got no expressions on anybody's faces. It works. It can work for like a movie like Dread. You can still see his mouth moving and stuff, but to not see anything of their face, you don't get any emoting at all. There's only so much you can do with just inclining your head through the helmet and shit. And yeah. Trying to find where I left off. Stupid ads. The season 3 finale at least appeared to resolve Bo-Katan's storyline, with the two major factions of Mandalorians uniting to defeat the seemingly unkillable Moff Gideon, Giancarlo Esposito, who'd set up a hidden Imperial base in the ruins of Mandalore. They did so in grand if derivative Star Wars fashion, with cross-cutting battles in space and on the ground, as Gideon faced off against Din and Bo-Katan, while he sported shiny black armor that evoked Darth Vader with the subtlety of an AT-AT. I heard that armor was like one of the late versions of the Dark Troopers armor. I don't know a whole lot about that. That might have been from something that I didn't read or didn't play. The Dark Troopers. I think that was from a game, like I don't know, Shadows of the Empire, maybe. I don't know. I've only ever read the novel. It was really good. But yeah, that'll be something else they freaking bastardize, I'm sure, later. So yeah, and Grogu got in the mix as well, tussling with some of Gideon's troopers while controlling the hollowed out body of the IG-11 droid from season 1. Yeah, I think that's ridiculous that they put him in like a droid exoskeleton to do shit with. It's like, shouldn't this guy be walking and like talking by now? Yoda was teaching Jedi at year 100. He was 100 years old. Okay. And this baby Grogu is supposed to be 50. He should be at least talking by now. It's ridiculous. And this whole baby controlling the droid thing reminds me of in The Last Jedi when the Finn and Rose are suddenly saved by freaking BB-8 in the ATST. I think it was an ATST. But yeah, he's in this big ass walker. The little droid BB-8 is driving a walker. It's so stupid. Uh, I half expected DJ to show up. You know, the guy who betrayed them. Like I half expected him to show up and change his mind. But yeah, that kind of made me laugh in the fucking theater. And I know we were meant to laugh at that, but I was laughing for the wrong reason. Even with this resolution, however, The Mandalorian fumbled some basic storytelling. For 3 seasons, Gideon has hinted at a grand plan to retake the galaxy that involved kidnapping Grogu and stealing some of his blood. One season 3 episode abandoned Din and Bo-Katan to further draw out this plotline, shifting to Coruscant. They misspelled Coruscant. To track how Gideon's main scientist, Dr. Pershing, was struggling to reintegrate himself into the New Republic. A storyline that was ultimately left dangling. Yeah, I wonder if they'll even touch on that again with season 4, which hasn't been greenlit yet, by the way. I'm sure they will, though. Instead, in the finale, we finally get to see the fruits of Gideon's labors in the form of incubation tanks housing clones of Gideon that have been infused with Grogu's blood and given power over the Force. Yet that's not how the Force works. I wish I had a clip of Han Solo saying that, but that is not how the Force works. Who wrote this? But rather than see any of Gideon's unholy creations in action, Din pushes some buttons on a control panel to explode the containers and destroy them before they'd even drawn their breath. Okay, so what was the point of all that? That's another thing. Yeah, that's another complaint that people are having, like the whole. Yeah, I I had questions about that shit from the beginning though. Like, why do they want Grogu's blood? Like, what's special about it? Because you can't just take blood from a Force user, give it to another person, and then they have the Force. That's not how it works. You either have it or you don't. Like, it either touches you or it doesn't. That's what these writers don't seem to understand. Like, there's lore built around this already that you're contradicting. But whatever. Could more Gideon clones be housed elsewhere? Totally. Could Gideon have survived the massive fireball that consumed his body and destroyed his base? Sure. I mean, somehow Palpatine returned. Was watching all this unfold depressingly anticlimactic? Absolutely. For better or mostly worse, Season 3 of The Mandalorian ultimately felt like the concluding act of this era of the show. Even the episode title, The Return, evoked Return of the Jedi. Well, you know what I thought about? I thought about the Justice League Justice League Unlimited episode, The Return, where President Ivo's android, Amazo, returns, and he's supposedly after Luthor because Luthor tricked him, like used him in a previous story arc. So everybody thinks he's out for revenge. He's trying to kill Luthor. So like the whole Justice League goes to try to protect Luthor from this robot, and turns out the robot is just looking for meaning. Like he's looking for his purpose in life, and ultimately decides to go with Dr. Fate to discover his purpose. It's a great episode of Justice League. If you haven't checked it, well, if you haven't checked out Justice League at all, you need to. You know, the one from the early 2000s I'm talking about. But yeah, that was that was the first thing that came to my mind because that was the title of that episode, The Return. But this, I don't know what it was referring to. By the finale's end, Bo-Katan and the Mandalorians had successfully recolonized Mandalore. Okay, so that's all it refers to, I guess. And Din had declared himself to be Grogu's adopted father and Grogu to be his Mandalorian apprentice. Sorry. Which meant, by Mandalorian creed that seemed to be made up on the spot to finally free... That's funny. To finally free Din and Grogu from this interminable storyline, the pair had to go off on their own on a series of adventures. In just a few scenes, the Mandalorian reasserted its original premise. Din partnered with New Republic Ranger Carson Teva. What happened to Cara Dune, you guys? Come on.
What kind of shit is that?
To help root out Imperial remnants on the outer rim of the galaxy, and he established a homestead for himself and Grogu back on Navarro. The inherent promise is that Season 4 of the show will return to what made Season 1 so enticing. A series of one-off adventures in which a lone gunman and his resplendently adorable child explore the galaxy and tussle with bad guys. Yeah, that was kind of the premise that we were promised at the beginning. Alas, The Mandalorian is also ultimately meant to feed into a culminating feature film alongside the events of the Book of Boba Fett, and the upcoming Disney Plus series Ahsoka, where the shenanigans on Coruscant and the talk of Grand Admiral Thrawn are expected to continue. So while Season 4 may get back to basics, it won't stay that way. Yeah, obviously. Yeah, no telling. I'm sure... Yeah, I'm sure they'll go back to just a gunslinger and knocking about the galaxy with his little baby. But they're gonna tie it into the larger story somehow, like the whole Thrawn thing and whatever else Filoni's got cooking. I'd say just Filoni because I feel like Favreau's gonna be out after this. Like if you saw the footage from Star Wars Celebration, he does not look happy at all. Like, he couldn't be bothered to even react when Dave Filoni was, gushing about the fans and their reactions and they're showing up. Filoni was near crying and Favreau was just staring, like, and not entirely in a friendly way either. I feel like Filoni has been a company guy for so long. He's under Kathleen Kennedy's thumb. He'll do whatever she says. And Favreau is this guy who really cares about Star Wars, who wanted to make something good. But Kathleen Kennedy has just managed to fuck it up, like, from the get-go. Like, if she had just let them do what they wanted, I think Star Wars would be in a better place. But she's always gonna meddle. As long as she's there, it's gonna get trifled with. It's gonna get muddied. And yeah, but even if she's gone, I feel like it won't get better because so many of her disciples are entrenched now in Lucasfilm that it's just become this place where writers go to have their works bastardized. It's where projects go to die. We've seen so many directors leave Star Wars projects just in recent months that it's gotten laughable. It's gotten to be a fucking joke.
You serious?
That's become the common reaction to every announcement that Star Wars has made now. The Rey Palpatine announcement, that was my reaction. The Acolyte, also my reaction. Now, everything High Republic, that's my reaction. Remember the Rock character, Geode? Yeah, that's still a thing. That was in the High Republic. So stupid. But I guess that's it for today. I think I covered all the topics. Yeah, Cleopatra, Jonathan Majors, Lilo and Stitch, Mandalorian. Yeah, yeah. I'm gonna take it out with Kyle's mom is a bitch.
How about we sing Kyle's mom is a stupid bitch in D minor? I told you not to call my mom a bitch, Cartman. Well, Kyle's mom's a bitch, she's a big fat bitch, she's the biggest bitch in the whole wide world, she's a stupid bitch, if there ever was a bitch, she's a bitch to all the boys and girls. Shut up, Cartman! Mr. Hinky! Monday she's a bitch, on Tuesday she's a bitch, and Wednesday to Saturday she's a bitch. Then on Sunday, just to be different, she's a super king, Kamehameha, biatch!
Golly, that isn't very nice. I'd sure like to teach him a lesson.
Have you ever met my friend Cosmo? She's the biggest bitch in the whole wide world. She's a mean old bitch, and she has stupid hair. She's a big, 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 big,